Hey Harold, how are you?
Doing all right, Coach. How about you?
I'm better than I deserve, man.
Welcome, Panther fans, to the final edition of Panther Preview for this year anyway. Coach went to Picayune, kind of took it on the chin. Players never gave up.
Not just the chin, took it on the head, the shoulders, everywhere else. They kind of lumped us up a little bit, but at the end of the day, I was super proud of the way our guys played. They played hard for all 48 minutes. Never gave up, never quit fighting, and that's what you ask of a Panther team, is to go out and fight to the very last whistle, and that's exactly what they did.
Well, I would like to think that we sort of softened them up a little bit.
Oh yeah. They went to West Jones. West Jones kind of ran through them like they ran through us. But they do represent our region 4, 6A, and so they made it to South State. West Jones, kudos to them for taking out the defending 2-time state champion. Wow. But give a lot of credit to Coach Stogner and his staff. He had their guys ready. They came out. They executed. We weren't able to stop some of their play action pass. The waggle got us a couple of times, and they were able
the
to
waggle,
get
the wiggle, the
waggle. The waggle. Full back out kind of thing. But again, it's all about our guys came in. We were pretty confident in going into the game, and they just out-executed us. They out-executed us at the end of the day, and for us, I think it was a great opportunity for our seniors to get to play in the postseason, top off one of the best years they've ever had as a football player, as a Panther, finishing the year 8-4. We also, I couldn't be more proud of just the way this team gelled and came together and overcame a lot of adversity throughout the year. I mean, you go back in several of our wins, we came from behind and we were able to continue fighting through a lot of adversity that teams in the past may not have been able to overcome, and just very, very proud of that. And just watching our younger guys experience the level you have to compete at in order to play for a state championship in Mississippi. I mean, 6A is the second largest classification. You got to be a dog, and it really opened the eyes, I think, to a lot of our underclassmen of what the level of intensity has to be in order to compete at that level. And that's our focus in the off season. Going into the off season, we're clean. You came in just a while ago. Helmets are up, shoulder pads are up. Our shoulder. I mean, for me, it's kind of like my week of mourning.
Yeah, I was fixing to say it was sad situation.
It's always tough. So I wanted to film in there. You couldn't stand it.
I couldn't look at it no more.
But again, it's you put 2023 to bed, and what you can say about the 2023 season is that this senior class, the class of 2023, has left Panther football better than it found it.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that they've sort of set the expectation, for the younger class to exceed.
And they did that by coming together, being completely about team. The selfishness was put to the side, the me mentality was put to the side, and the team was the most important thing. And that's kind of what we strove to overcome from January to August, was to understand that it's about the team, the dang team. And I really thought you saw that from not only our senior leadership, but our underclass leadership as well. And going into this off season, we know the level of intensity that we have to play at. We know how we got to train. We know what we need to do. So now you got a choice. You can stay the same, keep getting the same result, or you can elevate yourself. You can push through that ceiling, that glass ceiling, and push to be a competitor for South State and state next year. And that's exactly what our goals are.
Coach, we've started our off season now. What are the steps in our off season to prepare for next year?
Well, first off, because we played all the way through our Thanksgiving break, this is really our second day back with the guys. So we start out, we have a team meeting, we make sure we thank our seniors and let them know how much we appreciate them, and then we do exit interviews with all of our seniors, and then each player goes through with their position coach. And we give them a good, bad, and ugly scenario. Here's what you did well. Here's what you didn't do well. Here's some things you need to work on in the off season. And it kind of gives us an opportunity to sit back, and before we leave, going home in December, we'll get together and we'll set goals. We'll set a weight room goal. We'll set an academic goal, and then we'll set a personal goal for our guys that we want them to post in their locker and focus on from now until the end of next season, and just as a daily reminder of what their focus is. And number one thing is to be process oriented. The process of winning a state championship didn't start this week for Grenada and for West Jones. Right. It started last January. So starting to lay that foundation and understand that a foundation built brick by brick, day by day, getting a little bit better every single day, a little more focus, a little more discipline, a little more attention to detail is what it takes to be a champion. And you got to have a team full of champions before you're a champion. And we have to be champions every day and everything.
Champion mentality.
That's it. I listened to Nick Saban talk about that the other day in a little blurb. He talked about the championship mentality. It's not about winning championships.
Who does he coach for?
I have no idea.
Okay, go ahead.
But he talked about how the championship mentality is focusing on the process and getting the little things right every single day. And that's where we are as a team. We know where we need to improve. We know where we need to push ourselves. And now it's to come together, push ourselves through that, and not get bored with the process. And that's what's hard for anybody. Anyone that's successful, it's hard for them to get over the boredom of the process, because you're doing the same thing.
But you know what? Let me say this. One thing that it's important to realize. You got the young players that come in and do the same thing over and over. For sprints, and I'm going to use it as an example. For every sprint you go out there and run, Gaucher, Ocean Springs, or whoever is running those sprints.
They're doing the same kind of thing.
It's how many sprints do you just sort of loaf on?
It's intent.
That's the difference. Is when you're loafing, they're not.
So you can't even control that. You can do everyone with intent, and then you can muff a punt with 30 seconds to go in a game and give up a 4th and 31.
I had a good point there, and you just sort of,
Yeah,
but anyway.
But it builds the mental toughness to overcome those kind of details. Or if you find yourself in a tough situation, like you're down to Gaucher 21-0 in the first quarter, you're able to battle back from that, because you do remember back in January when it was cold and it was damp and it was wet, and you didn't want to come outside, and you didn't want to do the sprints, or you didn't want to do the county fair. You didn't want to push the heavy weight that day.
Through it.
But you did it anyway.
Right.
And that's the mentality you have to have, and that's what it takes to be a champion. And I really, really am excited about this next season and the guys we have coming back, and just can't wait for Panther football 2023.
At what point will we start doing this again? When do you want to meet again and let's talk?
I'll tell you what, 1st of February after Mardi Gras, we ought to get together and talk about where we are. That gives us about 5 or 6 weeks into the off season, so we should be able to get together sometime in February. Probably again in March, right before we get out for our spring break and our intersessional. And then soon after that, we'll be starting our spring football. It should be starting the last week or two of April.
Well, it's always hard, Panther fans, to end the season and to say goodbye. So I won't say goodbye. What I'll say is temporarily, so long until next year.